It was a simple birthday morning, filled with the quiet hopes of a little girl who had been dreaming of her very own Barbie. Her mother, exhausted yet determined, had tried to stretch every last rupee, every last ounce of strength. But as she looked into her daughter's eager eyes, reality weighed heavy on her heart. In a soft, trembling voice, she whispered, "I can't afford a Barbie for your birthday." Those words carried more than just the absence of a toy. They carried years of struggle, of late nights, of choosing between needs and dreams. For a moment, silence filled the room. The child looked up, sensing the sadness behind her mother's smile, and gently took her hand. No blame, no tears, just love. That whisper, though fragile, spoke volumes about sacrifice, strength, and the quiet heroism that often goes unnoticed. Behind that one whisper lies a reality shared by millions, single parents who wake up before dawn, work long hours, and still come home to prepare a meal with tired hands and hopeful hearts. They juggle responsibilities that often feel impossible, calculating every coin, every compromise to make ends meet. For them, love is not shown through grand gifts, but through quiet endurance, making sure the lights stay on, the rent is paid, and their children feel safe. Yet their struggles often go unseen, their resilience uncelebrated. Society applauds success but rarely pauses to see the silent battles fought by those holding families together with sheer willpower. That mother's whisper, "I can't afford a Barbie," is not a sign of failure. It's a reflection of strength, of honesty, and of a love that refuses to give up, no matter how heavy life becomes. In that small store, where the mother's whisper barely rose above the hum of background chatter, someone else happened to hear. The CEO of a toy company standing just a few steps away. He wasn't wearing a suit or surrounded by assistants, just an ordinary man on an ordinary day. But in that moment, something extraordinary stirred within him. Her words pierced through the noise of his routine, reminding him of his own mother who once struggled to make ends meet. He didn't hear a complaint. He heard courage disguised as humility. Instead of walking away, he paused, deeply moved by the sincerity of that moment. Sometimes life brings people together for reasons beyond coincidence, to remind one of privilege and the other of hope. That quiet whisper had reached a heart capable of changing more than just one birthday. It had awakened compassion, waiting to act. The CEO didn't make a grand gesture or draw attention to himself. He simply walked over, gently placed a Barbie on the counter, and smiled at the little girl. But what followed went far beyond that moment. He spoke softly to the mother, not with pity, but with genuine respect, asking about her work, her challenges, her dreams. Instead of just offering a gift, he offered an opportunity, a job that recognized her determination and skills. It wasn't charity. It was a door opening for someone who had long been standing outside, knocking quietly. For the mother, that day became more than just her daughter's birthday. It was a turning point, a reminder that even when life feels unbearably heavy, kindness can appear like sunlight through a storm. What began as a whisper of despair transformed into a story of dignity, hope, and renewal. That single act of kindness didn't end at the store counter. It began a ripple that touched many lives. The story of the mother and the CEO quietly spread, reminding people that compassion doesn't need an audience to matter. Employees at the company started small initiatives to help families in need. Customers began donating toys for children who might otherwise have none. Even strangers, inspired by the gesture, found ways to show care in their own circles. What started as a moment of empathy became a movement of humanity. It proved that real change doesn't always come from wealth or status, but from the willingness to notice someone's silent struggle and respond with heart. When kindness flows freely, it multiplies, turning whispers of hardship into voices of hope that echo far beyond what one person could ever imagine. This story reminds us that the world is full of quiet battles we may never see, and sometimes all it takes is one person choosing to listen. The single mother's whisper was more than just words. It was a mirror reflecting the silent struggles around us every day. The CEO's response showed that compassion is not about grand gestures, but about recognizing humanity in its rawest form. When we choose to see beyond appearances, when we slow down enough to hear those soft, trembling voices of need, we become instruments of change. We don't need to be wealthy or powerful to make a difference. We just need to care enough to act. Because one simple act of empathy can turn despair into hope, and hope, when shared, can transform lives in ways we may never fully realize.